This is Brian Gnoyak, and after the last video that I did on my buffing setup, I thought I would also show this vise setup. You can probably tell I'm a fan of Harbor Freight. This is actually a vise stand from Harbor Freight, and I should say I work in an office space. It's not really a big shop space, and so I have to keep everything really clean and not make it look like I'm running power tools and doing woodwork. So again, this is a vise stand. I actually got this on Facebook Market, and the person I got it from already had this wood block. So again, the block is bolted to the stand, and then the vise is bolted to the block. Because I can't screw it into the ground, what I did was, this is another bag from Harbor Freight. I think it was like $9 or something. And I got some play sand from Home Depot. I think it's like 50 or 60 pounds, and I filled this bag with play sand. So it's really heavy. I mean, I can barely pick it up. So that gives this a lot of weight. I can't, if I'm like standing really far away, I can't put a lot of downward pressure on, or it'll start to tilt a little bit, but it really does the job. It'll withstand quite a bit of force. For the jaws, I actually found these. They're aluminum jaws that hold, I think, gun barrels. I'm not even really sure why, but they're the perfect diameter for dent tools. They didn't fit the jaws perfectly, and I'd had some before that also it was just sort of this upper lip, and as I pushed down, no matter how tight I had it, they would start to kind of lift up and scratch. So what I did here was, I don't have a milling machine, so I drilled a bunch of holes and then just filed all the excess away, so that now this sort of locks in place. And I'll show you what that looks like with a dent rod in it. This is a 3/4 inch dent rod, and the jaws just fit it, I mean, perfectly. I think that's the diameter that they were milled to. And, I'm putting quite a bit of force down here about halfway through. If I start way out here, it starts to tip a little bit, but I'm probably never gonna go out that far. I am very close to this wall, and probably a lot of you are worried about scratching. I am too sometimes, and I think maybe I scuffed it a little bit there. But I'll paint over that someday. And I even have the crank handle. I added some duct tape so that it doesn't extend quite as far. And I have this just angled enough out that I do have some room on either side to reach and do some dent work. This is what it looks like with a 5/8 inch dent rod. It doesn't fit quite as snugly, but it definitely works. I can really put like almost my full body weight down, and these jaws don't budge. So I tried this with plastic jaws, and they eventually bent and broke when I really put a lot of force on the rod. So yeah, it works for this, and I'll show you what it looks like with even a roller that has a smaller diameter. This is a dent roller from Allied, and even though it's a smaller diameter, there's just enough space that the jaws can grip it, and it's in there. I'm tugging on it pretty hard, and can also push down pretty firmly. So yeah, it'll take everything down to, let's see, how big is this? 1/2 inch diameter. I don't think you'd go any further because there's just that little bit left. So that's my setup, and it seems to be working for me so far. I don't do a ton of dent work because a lot of what I do is clarinet, of course, but if I need to, I can. If you have any questions, go ahead and leave a comment, and I will respond.